Okay, so I'm going to show you a couple of rows or probably techniques of the tree cluster. I've just done 3 broomstick lace stitches, and I'll just show you how we can continue with the cluster. So imagine that's the base of the tree cluster, and now I'm going to pick up loops in these 5 stitches, and then come back here where we're going to do the 3 rows for the base and then continue. So let me just pick up 5 loops and I'll get back. Okay, so I have turned and I have picked up 5 loops for that one cluster. Now I'm going to continue with the next. So I'm going to change to color B. Okay, and I'm going to chain 2. So I'm just going to remove these stitches off that loop. Okay, so I'm just gonna chain 2 and chain 2, and I'm going to DC into each of these stitches. So that's 1, so in the pattern this is where you're going to be doing 20 DC for the base of the tree. Right, and that's the last one. Right, now you're going to chain 2 again, chain 1, I think. I will have to check the pattern. Yeah, so chain 2, and then you're going to do turn the work, and you're going to do front post double crochet stitches all the way till the end. Okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Right, so just when you do that last one, don't include the chain 2 that you have done, just take that double crochet post. Right, so that's your this. Now we're going to chain 1 and turn the work again, and we're going to slip stitch in each of these stitches till the end. Right, so we're just gonna slip stitch into each of these stitches. Sorry. And that's the last one. Right, now this live loop that you have of color B, you're just going to remove that, and you're going to insert a stitch marker into that loop. Right, so you're just going to insert a stitch marker into that loop so that the loop doesn't come off, and you're going to leave the color B yarn behind. Now you have floated the color A yarn. So you floated the color A yarn, right? So that's your loops, 5 loops here. Okay, you floated that color A yarn to this side. Okay, and then you're going to start picking up, you're going to do that and start picking up loops. Right, so we'll pick up 5 loops. So I've picked up the 5 loops, I have turned and I did a chain 1. So now I'm going to do 5 single crochets into this stitch. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So I picked up the 5 loops, I turned chain 1 and did 4 single crochets. Now that's the 5th single crochet that I have in the hand, on the loop, right? So that's the 5th single crochet, and I have not completed that single crochet, and I will go into that live loop of color B, remove the stitch marker, pick up that loop and complete the single crochet with the color B. Right, now you can pull your color A to make the stitch a little tighter, right? And then we are just going to do front post double crochet stitches into each of these post stitch, right? So I'm just gonna take that stitch inside and make one front post stitch, right? So that's where you'll get a clean edge, right, from your color A to color B when you're picking up the live stitch, right? So I'll continue doing post stitches and complete that row with the cluster, and I'll meet you back for the next row. Okay, so I've completed that, and now I'm going to show you the part where we're going to start doing the cable part of the tree cluster. So suppose you've continued doing the broomstick lace stitch all over, picked up all the loops till the required cluster, and then you're going to chain 2, like you're going to slip stitch into that, like chain 2 into that next the first stitch of the next cluster. Okay, and you're going to do say 3 DCs, right? So I'm just going to do 3 DC, right? And then I'm going to change the color to color B, right? So I'm going to change the color to color B. Okay, so don't worry if you have loops that come out like that, because it's all in the wrong side of the scarf, so it does not matter. It won't be seen from the front, right? So now I have taken I've changed the color to color B. I'm going to skip the next 2 stitches, right, of that, and I will do a back post treble crochet into the next 2 post stitches, right? So you can see these 2 post stitches. So I'm going to do a back post treble crochet. So a treble crochet is basically you yarn over twice, and because we're doing a back post, so we're going to go from the back to the front and pick that post and yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, right? Okay, so again yarn over twice, back to front, so that post gets lifted up, and we're going to finish that back post treble crochet, right? Now again, before you finish the color, when you have to change, just go ahead and change it to color A, right? Now what we're going to do is we're going to take that color B and keep it on your right hand side, right? So we're going to take that color B and put it on the right hand side, take the color A. Okay, now we're going to go back. You remember we skipped 2 stitches, so I'm going to do a treble crochet, a normal treble crochet into those skipped stitches, right? So I'm going to yarn over twice, go, from the front, right? We're going to make sure that color B always stays towards the right side of the scarf. So I'm going to go from the front, okay? I'm going to insert it into that first skip stitch, right? And do a treble crochet. yarn over again, insert into that next stitch, right, and okay. So now you have that. Now if you see from the front, this is what you will see. You did three double crochets, you did a treble crochet to make that post stitch slant, and those two skip stitches are come back on this side, right, because this goes at an angle, so we need something there to fill it up. So we're going to go back, and we've done that. So there is like a crisscross of those stitches, right? So now at the end of these two treble crochets, I will change color back to color B, right? Okay, you can, and keep the color A behind again, right? And then I will, so now we've worked into these two post stitches, right? So we're not going to work into them again. We'll go into the next, say, one post stitch. Okay, so in the pattern, so this will be again a back post double crochet, right, because we don't need to go, we need a treble crochet because we're going crisscross, and we need that height for it to go crisscross and not be pulled tight, right? But then whereas here we're just going to go straight up, so we'll just do a normal back post double crochet, whereas here we do a treble crochet, right? So this will be the part where you'll be probably doing say 12 back post double crochets, or 8, or as the row goes, the number will keep reducing, right? So now I've completed that treble crochet, double front post double crochet, back post double crochet. So I'm not going to complete that stitch. I'm going to again change color to color A, right? And now what we're going to do is we're going to mirror this exact thing on the other side, right? So we're going to have two of the treble crochets in color A, then two of the back post treble crochets of color B, and then 3 double crochets again, right? So now that I've changed to color A, I will skip the next 2 stitches, and into the next 2 stitches I will do a treble crochet. Okay, so I'm going to keep the color B yarn on the wrong side, and then skip the next 2 stitches, and in the next 2 of the next cluster I'm going to do 2 treble crochets in color A. So pull through 2, pull through 2, and I will not complete that stitch, and I will change the color. Okay, now this time when we're doing the post stitches, we will do the post stitch from behind these, right? So the color B always has to face the right side of the scarf. So I'm going to take the 2 yarns, take the 2 yarn overs, okay, come to the front, okay, and pick up the post stitch back to front, because we're doing back post double crochet, and finish the treble crochet. Right, and one more. So the last one, which is there here, I'm going to pick that up and do a back post treble crochet. And then when you have to complete that last stitch, again take the color B onto the behind on the right side, hold it, change color to color A, right, and and then in the last remaining 3 stitches we'll go and do a normal double crochet. So 1, 2, and 3. Right, so just follow the instructions. It will tell you where to skip the stitch, where to go and do the treble crochet, where to do the post crochet, post double crochet or post treble crochet, right? And so now I'm going to chain 2 and turn the work, right? So now if you see, right, so now if you see, we've taken these 2 post stitches and made them go 2 stitches on the side, whereas we have 2 stitches here in place of those, and this single one continues to go in the front, right? So now I'm going to come back and I'm going to show you how we're going to do the inverted crocodile stitch. So we'll do that with, say, you do 3 double crochets. So 1, 2, and 3, right? Now again, when I have to complete that stitch, I will not complete the stitch with color A, but in fact do it with color B, right? So there I have. Now we're going to do the inverted crocodile stitch. Now usually when you do the crocodile stitch, what happens is, when you're doing the chains or the double crochets, you will start double crochet from on these 2 post stitches, but you'll start from here, you will go all the way around and come back up here. So you'll keep double crocheting into that post, and you'll continue from there and go. That's your normal crocodile stitch, right? Whereas this one is an inverted, so we start at the bottom, we go up, and then, because that forms the leaf of the tree, right? So this is how we're going to do it. So once you change to color B, you're going to chain 4, okay? We're going to chain 4, right? So now this is the tricky part, so just be careful, like, so yarn over, right? And now you see this post stitch here, right? That's your post stitch, right? We're going to work into this post stitch, but what we're going to do is we're going to go from left to right, okay? So which means that I'm going to insert my hook from the left to the right, right? I'm not going to go this way from right to left. I'm in fact going to go the other way. So the easier way to do it is you turn your work onto the side such that this becomes like a base, horizontal base post, right? And yarn over, right? Pick up that post stitch if you want, right? And go from the, so inside to the out or left to right, insert the hook in that and do a double crochet, right? You're going to do 7 double crochets in that post stitch. So I'll continue to do 7 double crochets. So remember, you're working from the bottom. So you will always start at the base of the post stitch and you'll keep going up, right? So that's 3, 4, 5, 6. It may seem a little crowded, but that's okay. You will be able to fit 7 stitches onto that one post stitch, right? So now if you see, you've done 7 stitches on that post stitch from the bottom to the top, right? So now we're going to chain 1, okay? And then I'm going to come down on this post stitch, right? So I'm going to go from right to the left. So I'm going to insert the hook from right to the left, okay, and go from top to bottom, right? So so in that case you turn the work the other way around so that that becomes your horizontal base, okay, and you can again lift up that loop, okay, you can see the gap, and continue doing 7 double crochets on that stitch. 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, right? So now that we're at the bottom of that stitch, let me just go back and show you how it looks, right? So now you can see that's your chain 4 behind, right? You've come down to that post stitch, you've done 7 DCs, gone up, chain 1, 7 DCs back, and you're down now. So now that you're down, we need to go back up to continue the remaining stitches, right? So I'm going to chain 4 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And I'm going to turn, and I'm going to find the base of that post stitch, right? Now if you see, that's the base of your post stitch. So because we've worked on the stem of the post stitch, the top 2 loops of the post stitch that is on top here, if you see, that's the top 2 loops, they are not worked into, right? So I'm just going to leave the color B behind. I'm going to take the color A, and I'm going to slip stitch that stitch there, right? Right? And then I'm going to continue with the double crochets. So I'm just going to continue with the double crochet into the next stitch, right? Continue double crochet into the next stitch, yeah? And I'm going to change the color back to color color B, and then do this one front post stitch, continue with, so right now I'm doing just one post stitch here. In the actual pattern there'll be whatever 12 8 post stitches that will be together, right? So that's how, if you see, your inverted crocodile stitch will work like that, right? So you can continue doing the same. You can do the inverted stitch again on this side, and but the concept remains the same, that you do chain 4, you come down and you start from the bottom, do 7 double crochets, chain 1, then go into the next post stitch, do 7 double crochets down, chain 4 and slip stitch into that post stitch top 2 loops, right? So I think that kind of covers most of the things where you had queries. If you had more queries, then just put it up on the group and I'll be able to make more videos on that.